Welcome to the Getting Started training for the Murata Type 2 NR Evaluation Kit, or EVK. In this tutorial, we will walk through the hardware setup, software installation, application build process, flashing procedure, and finally running a Bluetooth Low Energy demonstration application on the 2NR EVK. The Murata Type 2 NR module is based on the Nordic Semiconductor NRF54L15 chipset. The module integrates three wireless technologies: Bluetooth Low Energy version 6, IEEE 802.15.4 for open thread applications, and NFC support. This combination makes the module suitable for low-power IoT and wireless connectivity applications. The Murata Type 2 NR EVK version 4 provides an out-of-box platform for evaluating the 2NR module. The kit runs the Zephyr operating system and works with Nordic development tools such as NRF Connect and Visual Studio Code with the NRF Connect extension. The EVK also includes an onboard debugger and programmer, an onboard NFC coil antenna, and an external U.FL connector for conducted RF testing. Inside the EVK package, you will find the Murata Type 2 NR evaluation kit and a USB Type A to Type C cable for connecting the board to your host computer. To begin the hardware setup, connect the 2NR EVK to your host computer using the supplied USB cable. Once connected, the EVK will power on and be ready for software development and programming. Next, we will install the required software tools. First, download and install NRF Util from the Nordic Semiconductor website. This installation will also install the Segger J-Link driver required for debugging and programming. Next, install Visual Studio Code. Finally, install NRF Connect for desktop from the Nordic Semiconductor website. Open Visual Studio Code and navigate to the Extensions tab. Search for the NRF Connect for Visual Studio Code extension pack. Select the extension pack and click Install. This extension adds integrated Nordic Semiconductor development support directly into Visual Studio Code. After installing the extension pack, click on the newly created NRF Connect extension icon. Next, click on Install Toolchain. A list of available toolchains will appear. Install the latest available version. The toolchain contains the required compiler, build system, and development utilities needed for application development. Now we will install the NRF Connect SDK. From the NRF Connect Extensions tab, click on Manage SDKs, followed by Install SDK. Select the SDK type as NRF Connect SDK. A list of available SDK versions will appear. Install the latest version. You can either specify the installation directory manually or press Enter to use the default location. Before using the SDK with the Murata 2NR EVK, a small patch must be applied. This modification improves the accuracy of the onboard 32 kHz crystal clock and only needs to be performed once for each SDK installation. Navigate to the specified device tree file inside the SDK folder. Locate the load capacitance value and change it from 15,000 to 10,500, as shown on the slide. Save the file after making the modification. Next, we will import a sample Bluetooth application. Inside the NRF Connect extension tab in Visual Studio Code, click Create a new application and then select Copy a sample. If prompted, select the installed SDK version. Search for the sample application named peripheral_HR, which is the Bluetooth heart rate example. Confirm the project location and click Open once the installation completes successfully. Return to the NRF Connect workspace and click Add Build Configuration. In the board target field, type NRF54L15. Select the target NRF54L15DK/NRF54L15/CPU app. Scroll down and click Generate and Build to start the compilation process. Once the build completes successfully, the generated firmware image named Zephyr.hex will be available inside the build folder. Now we will flash the generated firmware onto the EVK. Ensure the USB cable is connected to the board. Launch NRF Connect for desktop. Open the programmer application. If it is not already installed, install it first. This will open the programming interface in a new window. Inside the programmer application, click Select Device and choose the connected 2NR EVK. Next, click Add File and browse to the Zephyr.hex file created during the build process. Finally, click Erase and write to flash the firmware onto the EVK. After flashing completes, the Bluetooth application will start automatically. LED 1 on the EVK will begin blinking, indicating that the device is advertising and waiting for a Bluetooth connection. To monitor the application logs, open a serial terminal application such as TerraTerm or use the Visual Studio Code terminal. Check Windows Device Manager for the correct COM port and configure the terminal settings as shown. Install the NRF Toolbox application from your smartphone's App Store. Open the application and select Connect to Device. From the device list, select Zephyr Heart Rate Sensor. Open the heart rate profile inside the mobile application. The serial terminal on the PC will now display Bluetooth connection messages. At the same time, the mobile application will begin displaying heart rate data received from the EVK over Bluetooth Low Energy. For additional resources, please view Type 2 NR EVK Quick Start Guide, User Guide, Product Page, Nordic Online Documentation, and the Murata Community Forum, accessible in the caption. This concludes the Getting Started tutorial for the Murata Type 2 NR Evaluation Kit. Thank you for watching.